What's going on, everybody? If you're watching this video, you're going to be attending one of our live peer programming sessions on the Discord server. So there's a couple things I'm going to share with you just to make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody knows how to get set up, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to show you, one, our Discord server, just so you know how to navigate the different categories, find the peer programming session, what to pay attention to, that sort of thing. I'm going to show you a couple of the tools that we're going to be using for the pair programming: Visual Studio Code, LiveShare, which is an extension in Visual Studio Code, and then the front-end mentor tool that you're going to be using if you don't have an idea for a project. If you do have an idea for a project that you and your partner agree on, then you'll just be working on that, and I'll do everything in my power to help you get that done. So before I show you any of the tools, I'm just going to open up our Discord server, and you're going to land here. You're going to land on the Start Here channel. It's going to give you a little bit of information as far as introducing yourself in the Introductions channel, which is just 2 channels below, so you can see that here, Introductions. So go ahead and use this template just to introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are. The General channel is where most of the discussion is. And then we have some other channels here you can explore anytime you'd like. We have a little bit of information about the different events that we have throughout the week, and then a little bit of information about our in-person events as well. So when you first get into the Start Here, you're going to see this is the Welcome category. We have some rules, a place for you to introduce yourself, then some announcements. We have the General area, then we have a place for you to share your projects, resources, daily motivation, daily stand-up, ideas and feedback, podcast referrals. And then if you look further down, you're going to see peer programming, machine learning, and data structures algorithms. So you're going to navigate to peer programming. And you could drop into the README. This just has a little bit of information, and it has a couple of the links for the tools I'm going to be showing you in just a minute. And then it also has a link to this video here, just in case you ever want to find this link without having to go back to the Meetup app later. So you can see that these are the voice channels we have here. You're going to be hopping into one of these channels. We have a beginner, 0 to 1 years. We have an intermediate, 1 to 2 years, and we have advanced, 2+ years. So what you're going to do when you first come in is you're going to drop into either beginner, intermediate, and advanced. If you've been coding for 0 to 1 years, hop into beginner, 1 to 2 years, intermediate, 2+ years, advanced. And as long as there's 3 or less people in this voice channel, then totally cool. Just work on a team of 3 people. Once it hits 4, though, we're going to expect you to drop into one of the buffers. So if you hit 4, I would suggest figuring out, of the 4 people in the beginner 0 to 1 voice channel, which 2 have the least amount of experience or which 2 have the most amount of experience. For the 2 who have the least amount of experience, just drop down into this buffer here, and then people will continue flowing into the beginners. If it hits 4 again, same thing, just fill this buffer on the next one. And same with advanced. If we have, 3 people, that's totally cool. That's going to be your team, 3 people. If you have 2 people, that's going to be your team. If you hit 4 people, then we're going to expect you to 2 break out into the buffer and 2 stay in the advanced. So we're always shooting for 2 to 3 people in each group. And the reason for this is because this is an interactive session. This is meant for you to get your hands dirty. It doesn't matter what your level of experience is. Type some code, type an element, even if it's just an H1 element. And one of the partners is usually more hands-on and more willing to get involved. But hopefully you both are, and hopefully you're ready to get your hands dirty and start writing some code. We expect you to make mistakes. We expect you to type some code. That's where the learning happens. So, yeah. If there's 2 or 3 people, that's your team. Once it hits 4 people, break out into one of the buffers. And I'll be hanging out in the lobby. If anybody has any questions, you could just pop into the lobby, ask me a question. But besides that, that is our Discord server, and those are the directions for how you're going to be finding your team. These channels down here, machine learning and data structure algorithm, these are for other events, and you can find information about those events just right up here in the Start Here section. So that's the Discord server. Like I said, I'll be in the lobby. If you have any questions about the server or finding your team or anything, just pop it in the lobby and ask me. Next, I'm going to be sharing the code editor we use and the reason we use this code editor. So go ahead and just type in Visual Studio Code into your browser. We're using Visual Studio Code because Visual Studio Code has a plugin that allows you to code with other developers. It's called LiveShare. I'll show you that in just a minute. But go ahead and click the Visual Studio Code link. VisualStudioCode.com is going to pop up. You could click the download right here. There's also going to be an automatic download right here with your operating system. Go ahead and click download. You're going to see the file start downloading. When it finishes downloading, click on the installer and just follow through with that. I'll go ahead and click it just so you can see what it's going to look like. Thanks for downloading VS Code for Windows. And the download should start in just 1 second. So you can see it's starting right down here. And I'll go ahead and show you what the installer looks like if it finishes installing by the end of the video. But if it doesn't, when this link is done installing here, you're just going to click it. The installer is going to pop up just like any other download. Next, next, next. Just follow the default settings and then finish, and you should have Visual Studio Code installed on your computer. The next tool I'm going to show you is actually a tool inside of Visual Studio Code, and I'll go ahead and don't pay attention to any of this code. This is just a project I was working on. So when you have Visual Studio Code downloaded and installed, there's a tool that you're going to be installing called LiveShare, and you get that by going to File, or actually it's View, Extensions. The extensions are going to pop up here. Type in LiveShare, and LiveShare is going to pop up here. LiveShare is an extension that's created by Microsoft, so it's super popular. There's, I think it's like 13 million downloads or something of that nature. Tons of downloads. And basically what LiveShare is going to do for you is it's very similar to Google Docs. If we're both working on a Google Doc and I share the link with you, you hop into the Google Doc. If you make edits to the Google Doc and I'm in there, I see the edits happening in real time. If I make edits, you see the edits happening in real time on your computer. So it's a great collaborative tool. And LiveShare is the same just for coding. So you can see LiveShare Microsoft, about 13 million downloads, almost 5 stars. So great tool, real-time collaborative development from the comfort of your favorite tools. And go ahead and just click install right here. I believe it's going to be on the left, but I have uninstalled because I already have it installed. So go ahead and install LiveShare. When you break out into your team, into the server here, you're going to be in one of these channels, from the top buffer to the bottom buffer, depending on your level of experience and how many people initially join the group and how many people move over to the buffers. So one person on your team is going to be leading. That could be you or that could be somebody else. But if it's you, your responsibility is going to be just sharing your screen. And once you have LiveShare and Visual Studio Code installed, if you don't see LiveShare down here at the bottom, then you need to just restart your Visual Studio Code. If you have it installed and you don't see it, just close out your Visual Studio Code and restart it. And then it should pop up on the bottom. Go ahead and click LiveShare. And invitation link copied to clipboard. You could share that link with your partner, and anyone who clicks that link is going to pop into your code editor, and they're going to be able to start coding along with you. So that is LiveShare, and if you have any questions about that, like I said, just pop right into the peer programming lobby, and I will answer those questions for you. So the last tool that I'm going to show you is frontendmentor.io. And this is just for people who don't have an idea for a project, which is a lot of people. A lot of people are just looking for a good idea for a project. And if you don't already have something on mind, this is the perfect place to find a project. If you do have something on mind, just discuss it with your partner. And if your partner agrees and they want to work on the project with you, then that's what you're going to be working on. But if you're looking for a project idea, that's what we use this tool for. So you can see if I click on challenges, all the challenges pop up. I can filter by, click on filter by. We'll give this just a second, but all of the projects will pop up here. You could pretty much go down the list, whatever one looks cool to you. We have a results summary component, dictionary web app, single page developer portfolio, and it all depends on your level of experience. So when you click on filter by, you could filter by free, and you could also filter by newbie, junior, intermediate, and advanced. Guru, you actually have to pay for the paid version for pro, but you don't need that anyways. The advanced and the intermediate are pretty advanced anyway, so if you've been coding for 2+ years, these projects are really good, but most of the people who are going to be joining the 2+ years group right here, they usually have their own projects or their own ideas that they're working on. Free code, frontendmentor.io is just for people who are like, I don't really know what I want to work on. Let me just find a project to work on. And when you find the project that you want to work on, you can see, let's say we want to work on the countdown. So you'll click on that, click on Start Challenge, and then you download the starter. The starter is a directory with all of the files you need to get started. So it's going to have a style guide with all the colors, all the font sizes. It's going to have an image that shows you what the desktop version should look like, an image that shows you what the mobile versions should look like. So you'll actually be building a mobile and a desktop version of the application. You can see here, you'll have your assets, you'll have your design, you'll have the HTML right here that you're actually going to be building from. And the cool thing about this is you could use React, Angular, Vue, Vanilla JS. It doesn't really matter what you use. So once you download the starter, just extract all the files into the directory that you're going to be doing your project in, and then open up your Visual Studio Code from that directory. When you open up your Visual Studio Code from that directory, like this one is just, my directory is called MySpace. Yours is going to be called whatever project you downloaded. You're going to click Live Share, share the link, and then anybody who's on your team is going to hop right into your code editor and be able to code along with you. You type code and make modifications. They're going to see it changing on their side. They make changes to the code. You're going to see it changing on your side. So those are the tools: Visual Studio Code, the Live Share extension inside Visual Studio Code. If you have a project idea, you're not going to need Front-End Mentor, but if you are looking for a project to build or you're not really sure exactly what you want to build, Front-End Mentor is a perfect repository of projects ranging from beginner projects to advanced projects, and there's some really great projects in here. So that is that. And then, like I said, once you hop into the server, drop into the channel with your level of experience. Once you hit 4 people, break out into groups. So if you hit 4 people in your level of experience, 2 go to one buffer and 2 stay in your group. And then if another 4 and 2 already went to the buffer, then another 2 are going to drop down to the buffer. So you have 2 in one buffer, 2 in one buffer, 2 in the middle. And then if more people than that come, then you'll probably have bigger groups, and that's fine as well. But we like to have 2 or 3 people in the beginning, unless you really have to have more than 2 or 3 people. And that's really to make sure everybody's getting involved. The bigger the group, It tends to be people who are just like hanging around watching people code, and that's not how you learn. These events are specifically for people to get their hands dirty, type some code, make mistakes. It doesn't matter if you never typed a line of code in your life before. That's totally fine. You're gonna. This isn't meant to know all of the code and know how to build websites. It's like you're going to be using ChatGPT, you're going to be using Google, you're going to be researching how to build certain things. That's what it's all about. It's all about the learning experience. So, welcome. If you have any questions, pop into the lobby. I'm going to be working on my own personal project as well. And I will see you soon.